did your master ever live in the Himalaya, like in the caves? Did he ever live in a cave?
The guy who has written this book used to touch the feet of my master and he used to sit.
No, really? So was your master one of his masters?
Not one of his masters, but he always respected. Or you can say that he is one of the. Uh, he learnt a lot from my master. Another
Wow.
problem, not problem, but that is the way. Uh, that is the way uh, this modern world works. So he referred to a guy who used to take a dip in the Ganges River
Yeah.
with minus degree temperature, who was a disciple of my master.
Wow.
And we met this guy many a times. And I could say that he was a crazy guy. Why? Because he was perfecting a level of endurance like a polar bear in the Arctic, in the Antarctica, in the Arctic.
Yeah.
He was just perfecting his body, but his awareness was so low.
Mm.
So when I read the book and I took the book to my master, and I said, "This isn't master had a, my master was laughing." You see, this is what happens, and that is why I don't want to be famous. You you have to use certain tips and tricks to be famous.
Yeah, I know you're right. I was, but they're like, it's interesting though. Like, I wanted to ask you, so
I
like,
still,
what?
I'm recalling his name. His name is S. You know, it's
Swami Rami.
no, no, that is Swami Rama, but he's the author of the book. But the guy who
Oh,
take a dip in the Ganges River, and possibly I would say he is still alive, lives in the Himalayas, in a monastery, and he has become a politician of the other monks.
are some of these people like of the highest level of seeking though? Like they go live in the caves and they like that's the highest level of a seeker.
No, and yes, both. Yes, in a sense that you have one pointed goal and aspiration and a desire to have a self realization. Answered, then in that case, your 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 total commitment is to awaken yourself the way my master did it.
Mm.
So he was total only committed. After awakening, lot of his master's disciple wanted to follow him, and he said no. So he continued to live in the Himalayas, and at last his master addressed his disciples that now he has reached to a much higher level than me. You have to follow him.
Mm.
And then a lot of people, one, I think two or three people are still alive. They are in their 80s and 90s. They followed my master in the Himalayas, requested him to come down to teach people. I met my master much later,
Wow.
and then he agreed, but he said no condition to me. So they built a monastery of my master in the plain, which is known as the Rishikesh, and then I became his disciple. And one day, those guys who built the monastery said that we already have 30, 40 rooms, so we should put it on the rent to have an income. He said, yes, you can do it, but I will go back to my cottage in the cave in the Himalayas. You want to run a business with a monastery in which I am living? Not possible.
Mm.
And ultimately, they have to leave that order. So that monastery is still not, it is not put on rent. You can go there, you can stay there, and you can have a humble meals 3 times.
Wow.
So we used to maintain, we used to give donations, and by that he used to maintain. He said, no, I'm not interested in that.
Hmm.
So you asked me the question: do people go to the Himalayas for awakening and realization? And it is a faster process. It all depends on you.
Yeah.
You have a desire. Then there are, and no, why no? People go there to claim that I lived in the Himalayas. Now I am a great monk, but they had no realization. Their goal is to earn and to become on name and the fame.
Yeah.
So I don't want to name, but there are a couple of people in that category. They come here also. I don't want to name them, but they have the same motivation.
Hmm.
So it all depends on you. Third point is very important, is that we talk about the Buddha. Buddha left the kingdom because he found the kingdom is a waste. He
Hmm.
did not leave the kingdom of lot of money. He had a level of dispassion, one reason. Second reason, because he found that if he practices meditation there inside the king palace, his dad is not going to spare him. Because at the time of the birth, normally an astrologer is invited in India. It was a form of a ritual. Let the astrologer and an astrologer predict what he is going to be. So his father invited the astrologer. The astrologer said two options: either he become the one of the greatest king, or he become a monk. So his father started thinking, if he become a monk, then who will take care of my kingdom?
Hmm.
So he created a Las Vegas in his kingdom, or Sin City. You can say all kinds of pleasure, gambling, wine, etc., etc. And since birth, he lived until 16 years of age.
Hmm.
So he had all the sinful experiences, if I say so. Many Buddhists may attack me, may react to me, but that is a fact.
Hmm.
But if you have some impression inside, and you have a commitment to that particular thought, or you have a commitment to awakening, you may be living in the Sin City. It doesn't make any difference. You need not to go to the Himalayas. Buddha never went to the Himalayas.
Hmm.
So after 16 years, I told you the story. He wanted to visit the kingdom. He saw the sick man. First time after in 16 years of his life.
Hmm.
You see the commitment, in inner commitment and your previous impressions, that takes the form of a desire for self-realization, changes you everything. Doesn't matter in which place you are practicing, whether in the Himalayas or in the plain. So a horse cart, he was sitting in a horse cart, and Buddha was sitting on the back, and the driver was there. And he saw that, what is this? This guy is a sick guy. Who is this? After 16 years, he does not, because his father prevented him. to live only in the sin city where he could not see the dead man, he could not see the sick man, all the guards, the servants were prevented to talk about anything negative except the pleasure. Now, two things. We are chasing the pleasure. He was forced to enjoy the pleasure. What I said? He was forced to enjoy the pleasure by his dad. We are always chasing the pleasure. Now, 16 years he lived, and so he said, "What's a sick man? Who is this?" The driver said, "He's a sick guy." "What do you mean by a sick guy?" "No, everyone becomes a sick." "What?" Buddha, amazed. You see, we see a lot of people dying and the sick in our family, in our near and dear ones. Mind is not at all. Mind takes it by default. So it means I don't have that intense desire for awakening. I get into the pleasure. He was forced into the pleasure. But now, it means I should also become sick. The driver said, "Who knows, Everyone becomes sick. Sickness and the health are dynamic states. So I will also become sick." "Master, your dad told me not to tell you, but now you have seen it, so it is a fact." "What?" And he went, these thoughts went inside. How many times? Oh, my near relative is suffering from this illness and he has been in coma. Oh, okay. It does not attack my heart. It does not make me a seeker. And then he saw a 90-year-old guy with a stick walking on the street of his kingdom. He said, "Who is this?" "Your dad told me not to tell you, but you have seen it. So everyone has to meet this fate." Buddha said, "I will also become?" "Yes." There's no difference between the prince and a normal people. The nature is democrat, Whether you are Elon Musk, you have to become old. You cannot remain young. You see, I'm answering that question that if you go to the Himalayas, can you awaken and realize? No. Yes, both.
I understand.
So now the third point. I will also be, yes. Nature is democrat, It doesn't spare whether you are a prince or you are Elon Musk or anyone. So he went into the contemplation, reflection. In the meantime, the four people, normally when a person dies, the four people prepare a bed of bamboos in India, and the four people keep on their shoulder of the dead body to the cremation ground out of the respect. So a dead body was passing by. He said, "Who is this?" "He's died." "What do you mean by died?" "He's no more." "What do you mean by no more?" And the driver explained to him, "Oh." And then he recognized why my dad forced me into all kinds of pleasure to forget these naked truths of life. Can we recognize through our mind? And can I stick to this? I can stick to this. I am a great seeker. That is, you have asked this question many a times. A simple restaurant took your mind and senses away to get attracted to that girls.
Yeah.
Which was not forced to you. It was forced to him. It has nothing to do with the kingdom. People take very high value. he has left the kingdom. No, it is not the case. Now the fourth, now the fourth event on the same day, one guy monk was meditating on the street. In those days, you did not have those pollution and other stuff. Who is this guy? What is doing? He's meditating. Why is meditating? What is this meditation stuff? Ah, he has become a renunciate. Why he has become a renunciate? Or he has left everything. Why? But he returned home. He started contemplating. In the meantime, his dad forced him to marry. He got married, he had a son. But now his commitment was different. He was not in the Himalayas. You can think that his palace has become the Himalayas. He started contemplating and reflecting after 2 years or 3 years. In the midnight, he said, "Bye bye, honey. Bye bye, my son. Now I'm going on a journey to realize what is the truth of this whole birth and the death." So he went into the plane and he practiced everything which people claim they practiced in the Himalayas. And he got awakened. Now see, that makes Buddha's journey very clear. So first, he taught his 5 friends who were doing the austerity under a teacher. So he called them and he said, "Here are the teachings. This is what we need to do." And then he rushed to the home of, he rushed to the kingdom. So guards inform him that the Buddha is, your son is coming. And his dad, his wife, his son was standing behind to receive him. Can we dare that? That is the real life story of Buddha. We normally talk about Buddha left the kingdom. No. He already realized that I did not come with any penny. I will not go with any penny. So whether you are a poor or a rich guy, or whether you are living in a single family home or a big mansion, doesn't make any difference. When you recognize that you have not come with any possessions and you cannot take these possessions at the time of the death. So it does not make any difference. You are living in a kingdom and you leave it, or you are living in a 1-bedroom apartment and you leave it. So we create a unnecessary story.
But most people thinks that this is all that matters, so it does make a difference.
It doesn't matter at any cost. Anyhow, so he approached, and they welcomed with a condition. Especially his dad said, "Son, I can forgive you, provided you take the charge of this kingdom." And Buddha was looking at him and smiling. The wife said, "I can also forgive you, provided you promise me not to leave me again." Buddha smiled again. He said, "You don't know why I have come to you guys." American style. I have come to you guys. I have come to you guys to show you, to teach you, to educate you, to empower you, to find your real self. So I thought it is my duty. You have taken care of me, so please follow me. Master, his father is saying, "Follow me and become the king of this kingdom." And he is saying, "You follow me, I will show you the path of real kingdom." He never went to the Himalayas. He never went to the Himalayas, and he reached to that stage. So there are many masters. my master, when we used to spend couple of months in that Himalayan region, and I spent about 3 months, one time 3 months, and second time 1 month, like this. So he said, go to that master, go to that monk and find out what he is. Come back and report to me. So in that tradition, you have to follow the order. So I went there and I saw the guy was, until this level, he was beneath the ground. He buried his entire body except his neck. And he was talking and etc. So he was talking, and you can get, those endurance, you can train the body you like. You can become a wrestler, you can become an athlete, you can become a bodybuilder. So I returned, and then he said, oh, son, so what you have seen? I said, please excuse me, master, he's a crazy guy. Why he has to bury himself under the ground? It has nothing to do with the body. Awakening has to do with the real self. Real self is independent of the body. No, I'm asking you that why he is doing it. I said he might be doing it, he wants a big ego. He wants a lot of Americans and Britishers and the Germans used to visit him.
So he's like a showman.
Showman.
Yeah.
So you are living in the Himalayas and doing nothing. So you should have done in the material world what you are doing in the Himalayas.
They talked about Jesus was actually living in the Himalayas for a while.
Yeah.
So Jesus was Jesus was a great seeker. The problem is that after generations and generations, religion just got messed up, and it's become. But Jesus himself was a great seeker.
Yeah, he was a great seeker, and I don't remember. He lived with a couple of the masters of those days.
Wow.
I have to look into that reference book. Many people said this, and he learned all those practices. So what happens, that you learn and you reach to that state. So you have your unique expression. Buddha has its unique expression. Third master who reached to that state has its own expression. So because of their expression, not because of some other reason, every master has their own followers. Because those followers like this approach. So like this, there are many approaches to that path. As many masters, as many paths. But it does not mean that we are fighting. It does not mean that we are going against. We respect, we say this is your approach is good. This is my approach is also good. But origin is the same. They came from the same origin. So we have many masters like this, who, like Sri Aurobindo, who independently, I won't say developed a separate path, but because the approach he chose became one of the most famous masters. He lived until 1950. I spent 2 years in that Aurobindo ashram. Sri Aurobindo was a great master. So the master you are talking about, who has written this book, whose one disciple was a good friend of mine. He's a good friend. Now he died recently. He died in, I think, 7-8 years ago. He used to visit United States because he has a big ashram. He has a big ashram in Pennsylvania. And what the best part he did, Swami Rama. I always appreciate him. He got something around $300 to $400 million in those days, in 70s and 60s in US. He took
Wow.
away all the money to India. He built up a super specialty hospital in the terrain of the Himalayas.
Wow.
I appreciate him. I respect him.
Wow.
I love him.
Wow. What's the deal with the sticks? Why do they talk about giving the master sticks? Have you heard that?
Oh yeah. Yes, yes. You see that. That's what I say. The tradition is unique. Eastern wisdom tradition is unique.
It's beautiful.
So many masters have created some symbolism, and in that symbolism, so when you offer the stick, you belong to that tradition.
Mm.
Because, say, for example, there are more than 3,000 texts. So, not everyone can study all the text in lifetime, but how to keep those texts and teaching alive. I'm just giving a brief reference. So, many masters long back, maybe 1,000 years ago, they said, okay, you pick up this group of the text. So now you belong to this tradition. You pick up this text, you belong to this tradition. So then gradually they created some symbolism. Either it is a stick or a conch or a particular beads, a different kind of beads, or different, you have seen that different, they put different paints on their head.
Oh yeah.
So it represents a different tradition.
Hmm.
So once you recognize that which tradition, oh, he belongs to this tradition, I can instantly recognize. Oh, he has three lines. Oh, he belongs to this tradition, and this tradition helps you to understand the study of these texts. So if you want to study this text, follow this tradition.
Hmm.
Follow this tradition. So that is how the entire tradition evolved. And that tradition evolved. Well, it's such a beautiful tradition. Now, before going further, you have to you have to browse today some YouTube videos. I think we have deviated from the topic, so I'm just giving you some idea. What is that idea? It is known as Kumbh Mela. Kumbh. Kumbh Mela. Mela. Or you simply write down Kumbh and you look at the videos of that Kumbh Mela. More than 400 million people in India gathered at the bank of a Ganges river to take a dip. It is kind of a ritual to take a
Okay.
dip. That auspicious day is the 13th of this month. It has already passed
Oh, yesterday.
yesterday.
Oh shit.
More than 400 million Indians taking a dip into that, which has some auspicious day and the time in which you get rid of. It is sad. It is a ritual, but it has some power also. That it helps you to get rid of certain sins. One thing. In this gathering, all traditions, all traditions, monks from all the traditions gather at that place to take a dip. It's a celebration of all the different monks. So millions of people, Indians, who have a tremendous faith in the tradition, they go there to see and to take their blessing. All traditions. We have more than about 52, 53 traditions, and 17 or 18 classified traditional monk groups, and every monk group has around maybe sometime 1 million, 10 million people in that group. They all are taking the dip. And every normal Indian allows them with the respect to take a dip. First, they have to take a dip, and then the normal Indian takes a dip. 400 million people. Until 26th of February. It is a 45 days celebration. I think about 100 million people have already taken a dip.
Wow.
So what they do, everyone has a canopy or a tent, every tradition. So if you want to know a particular tradition, you go to that canopy, find out what is their program, who is the head of this, who is going, when they are going to give a talk. 45 days of congregation. 45 days. So you find all those people, they are different dresses, belongs to a particular tradition, have different paints, belong to a particular tradition. So if you know it clearly, then you know that where I have to go, which tradition I have to follow. But ultimately, they belong to the one tradition. Ultimately, I would say I was listening yesterday. More than 10,000 Americans have gone there to take a dip. Germans, Japanese, Spanish, and there are some great monks amongst Americans and also from Spanish and the Greece, because they follow the same tradition. You will find them wearing the orange colored clothes and surrounded by a lot of disciples. They have also gone there to take a dip. They have such a tremendous faith in this celebration. So whether you go to the Himalayas, my masters used to send me to lot of masters. So go there, find out what they are doing, and then come back and reflect on it. So I met almost many masters, more than 100 masters, because of my own master. He was just open. You go there, find out. You want to go there, please go there. Become their disciple. Don't come back to me.
Yeah, they talked about that in the book, that the masters were always very like open. They said, yeah, go find out. If you come back, you come back. If you don't, then you don't.
Don't. So I know the two disciples of Swami Rama. One is Swami Veda Bharati, who is no more. I have yet to find out whether Swami Ananta Bharati is another disciple with whom I have a great friendship, who lives nearby my house in Delhi. I have yet to find out, because at that time when I left India, he was almost in his 80s. Now it has been 20 years. So I don't know. So he has also written 10-15 books. Veda Bharati has written 10-15 books. The third disciple, he doesn't want to meet me. I tried to contact him. He is in the States. And I know why. I don't want to talk about that.
Why do you leave India? Like, why leave India and come here? I mean, how do you like?
I
Yeah.
was thrown by a destiny to be here. That's all. I I went to my master with all the passports, and he said, "Okay, you are leaving us." So I threw the passport at him. He said, "No, I'm sending you." So I said, "If you are sending me, then I can go." I'm sending you. How dare you say that you are going on your own? I have blessed you. Really? Yes. So yes, and that is how I entered here